World War I began in 1914 and was triggered by the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Besides that, there were four other factors that contributed to the worsening of this terrible war. These were militarism, nationalism, imperialism, and alliances. Quick info. The countries that took part in the First World War were France, Britain, and Russia, against Austria-Hungary, Germany, and Italy. There were also many other countries that were involved in the war through the country's colonizations. Militarism is when a country has a strong military spirit or policy. This means that the rival countries were always trying to have a stronger military force than each other, leading to an arms race. All the countries increased their military spendings to enable them to raise more armies and improve their battleships. Between 1910 and 1914, France increased its defense expenditure by 10%, Britain by 13%, Russia by 39%, and Germany was the most militaristic as it increased by 73%. To get armies to expand, the countries increased the amount of soldiers as well as their serving time. As soldiers were honored and looked up to, getting people to join the army wasn't so difficult. As the countries started spending more money on their military, it allowed them to build more battleships as well as purchase more weaponry. Germany and Britain were in competition to make the most dreadnoughts, which were large, fast, heavily armed battleships. Between 1906 and 1914, Germany built 17 dreadnoughts, while Britain completed 29 dreadnoughts at the price of $2 billion. The country stocked up on weapons like machine guns and field guns. Mustard and chloride gases were used which caused vomiting, chest pains, sore eyes, blistering skin, and external and internal bleeding. They also bought and made more tanks, planes, and zeppelins, which were metal hot air balloons that were filled with bombs. The tactics of the First World War were basic due to the fact that most of it was trench warfare. Trench warfare is when soldiers dug trenches where they sat to avoid fire while shooting at the rivals. There were various strategies used. For example, the Schieffelin Plan, in which they advanced into France where it became a trench war. The basic combat techniques consisted of both rivals advancing whilst getting shot after a few minutes. Another strategic plan that was thought of was tank attacks. The first tank ever made was in the summer of 1916. 59 tanks were made, of which only 49 were used in the war. On the way to battle, 17 of these Mark I tanks broke down and were not used in combat. There were many other tactics and plans made, some better than others. We hoped you learned something about militarism. Thank you.